These are the Diana Phi. Right? $4,000 of Zeos Platinum coming at you live. First things first, let's get it out of the way. There's an original Diana, then there's the Phi, or Phi. Take your pick. Phi, Phi, Fo, Fum. There's another version coming out that has improved the comfort, all right? Anyone who's tried these, anyone who's been to a show, anyone who knows anything about these, knows when you put them on, they're not quite the perfect headphone for probably anyone but probably the original engineer who designed them. They're a little bit narrow, the pad's a little bit square, and they've remedied this. And that's the good start for this review, because it takes me about 20 to 25 minutes to get comfortable with these physically. And then it takes me a little bit longer than that after I've been wearing them to actually start appreciating the sound, which is rare for a $4,000 headphone. Usually you put a $4,000 headphone on and it just smashes you in the face with how great it is. And these take a little more nuance. And also, they take a lot of playing. And I'm not just talking about you have to put, burning hours on it. I'm talking about when you start playing music on the Diana Phi, you're going to start finding out how much of your music is shit. That's either a benefit or a detriment to these headphones. Because if we're starting out with okay, $4,000 headphones, yes, why should I care? It's because it's whittled my playlist down from maybe, I'm going to say 50% real quality stuff to about 15% real quality stuff. And that could either be the greatest thing you've ever heard or the worst thing you've ever heard. Bad music sound bad on these. I had to start listening to only 24-bit Super Audio CD rips to actually, to really get the benefit of these headphones. Because that's what kind of insane we're talking about here. I've got them currently plugged in with their stock cable. This one is particularly non-balanced, labeled Abyss. Nice, it's thick, but it's flexible and soft and squishy into these silver ends. And I don't know if Abyss didn't get the memo, but you can't use 2.5 millimeter on your headphone because then someone could use other cables, and you don't want that. You want to be asshole proprietaries like everybody else who does high-end headphones. Actually, what was the Meze Empyreans, I think, were still okay. But Sennheiser, they would laugh at this. So, actually a very nice stock cable. Here's the adapter, by the way, in case you want to go from 3.5 to 1/4 inch. A lot of carbon fiber and gold. That's all I'm going to say. Put this to the side for a second, because I'm going to run these balanced for the rest of the duration of this review. I got my setup here, 4.4 millimeter. You have to get a little bit longer ends on your 2.5 millimeter if you're going to go like this. So let's just plug those in there. I hope you notice that the contours on this actually do fit the rest of the body, so it looks completed. Nice. It's nice. Thank you, Abyss. Thank you. The first test Zeos does for a headphone is fit and comfort. And these, they're too narrow. What they fixed with the new headphone revision that I know someone who's got it, DMS3TV has got it, and he sent me these, so he's like, yeah, no, those were definitely not as comfortable as these. They made the headband wider, because if this was how wide my head was, that'd be perfect. But no one's head is that wide. Everyone's head is that wide. So then you could extend it down, and then you have it like that on your head, and guess what? The pads can't compensate for that sort of angle. It's a crazy wide angle. And then the pads themselves, while soft and comfortable, just don't fit my ear in them. I mean, I can't give them a 3-knuckle because we're sort of like rocking, so I got to give them like a 2-knuckle to actually get to the deepest part. For those who don't know, I do knuckle tests. And these are magnetic, so you can pop them off and they'll rotate 90 degrees, or you could reverse them to the other side and do them 90 degrees. And I had to play around with that quite a bit to get them to actually feel comfortable and fill in the gaps more than anything. At the widest part, this is wide, but this is also wide, so I had to rotate from left to right to get the widest possible part against the bottom of my ear. And now they fit acceptably. Not fantastically. I'm hoping the new revision, if I get to try those, will fit fantastically. Because there's so many good things about these headphones I want to talk about. This is not one of them. The comfort aspect is not one of them right at this moment. Also, this has like infinitely no padding. So I'm just like, I wanted to put Duconi nuggets on it. I shouldn't want to put Duconi nuggets on a $4,000. I mean, I have Duconi nuggets on my my HP3s from Klipsch. So I mean, $1,100, $3,000, $4,000, fine. Put these back on. Actually, no, before I put these back on, here is the driver, and here's what they're claiming about being the world's thinnest headphone. Because you think thinnest TV, I can understand. Thinnest headphone, why? So here is the actual dimensions of the driver, the suspension, the magnet structure, all of it. The whole headphone, by the way, is also ceramic coated, in case you're wondering. And these just sort of like, there's metal back here, and it just sort of very violently snaps back into place. Carbon fiber. If you see carbon fiber, there's a 100% chance it's really carbon fiber. You see leather, there's a 100% chance it's the leather. You see machining marks like in there, like those little swirl patterns, there's a 100% chance that was a machined piece of metal or aluminum or metal, aluminum, magnesium. I don't know. There's so many exotic materials in this thing, I can't even keep up. Labeled left and right there. Again, we talked about the headband needing to be wider and softer. That's just, it's pretty. It's a little bit soft, like you get a little bit out of it, but this is going to be on your head for hours. If I'm spending this sort of money on headphones, it's going to be on my head for hours. Put them back on. Oh, when I go to adjust this, little interesting things, because there's a lot of little interesting things about these headphones. This doesn't click, it just sort of stops, because they actually use magnets, the same magnets I believe they use for the driver, to just force the thing to jump between the poles. So it's between probably a negative between two positives, or positive between two negatives, and it just goes which means it should last forever and never wear down. So thank you. Oh, this patterning on the back, by the way, when I first saw these in 2018 at Can Jam in Rocky Mountain, I was like, oh god, they're not pretty. There's some aspects that are pretty, like that's actually beautiful. I love the Abyss name, it goes to leather, they got the logo here, and this looks good, although it's not very padded, but then this shows up and it's like, why are there holes like not even? Why isn't it just in the center? And that's got to do with the Fibonacci pattern of nature. There's a really corny line on the website. Did I leave it on that? Thinnest boutique headphone. Sporty leathers and soft Alcantara. I don't know why sporty matters. High-tech ceramic finish. Has her looking good. Wow, these are really cringy. But hand-carved, extra-wide, low-profile ear pads with minimum clamping force, or for extreme comfort for any head shape. Well, not mine. Maybe now it would do that. 63mm patent pending. Fibonacci side hole pattern properly tunes the sound while following the flow of nature. Okay. Comes in a titanium gray color. Custom colors available. I think red. Literally red would be great. Frequency response 6 to 26,000. Weight 350 grams. 32 ohms impedance. CNC all aluminum frame components produced in our own plant. They do. All right, here's the thing. These are made in New York, so I'm a little biased towards them because I'm from New York and we gotta stick together, especially manufacturing there because nothing made in New York anymore. Every little bit of this is made to like insane standards. If these headphones didn't make sound, if these were just a model that you picked up and you went, oh, these are very nice, I'd give them A+ across the board because they are built fantastically. Every screw and every mount and every way that this slides up and down and all the machining, I could see it. You could feel it. It's built perfectly. They need to work on the comfort, which apparently they've done. I'm not going to knock these super hard. Any headphone you buy from them from this moment on that isn't used should be exceedingly comfortable. If you get an older one, you're going to have to deal. What we really care about, though, here is the sound. So let me talk about that for all, I don't know, the rest of this video. I was going to do this as like sort of a joke. I was going to be like, oh, look at this bag. And I was going to pull out this bottle of tequila. We were going to drink tequila. But I think I'm going to skip the tequila for now. We could talk about the bag in a second also. Because it's interesting, but slightly flawed. And we'll get to it. The wire's good, the bag is... These headphones can be the greatest headphones you've ever heard. They have absolutely that ability to do. They have the ability to be plugged into a very specifically quality amplifier and DAC with very specifically quality music. It's not just a free-for-all, plug this in and everything sounds great. That was the one thing about the Meze Empyreans. Whatever I listened to on them sounded it sounded like it was changed from the music I've heard for years to this new experience on the Meze Empyreans because it was so big and wide and oh my god, what are they doing? And these tell you your music is garbage. Because if it is, it is. And if your amplification solution isn't precisely what they like, it's going to sound different. I've got 3 setups going right now. When we get off of the single-ended and I go to the balanced setup, which is this, I have 3 things. I've got the Wah 11 Topaz being fed externally through this very clicky volume control that I got on Amazon. That's like a full relay adjustment. That's converting the RCA outputs of the Arist R2R DAC into RCA, into XLR to be pushed into this balance. I'm pushing to the front of this. And this is the softest of the setups I've listened to the Diana feed. Softest. And then we move on to what it's currently hooked up to, which is my QES Italian-made reference amplifier. And this thing is very weird output impedance, but I asked the owner and the creator of it, and he's like, don't worry about it. It's not actually what it means. I mean, I'm pushing it pretty hard, and planars are usually a different thing, but... And that's like a good median balance as far as clarity and still warmth and width. And then I've got, of course, the 789 hooked up. And the 789 is brutally fucking neutral with these. Like, it's just like, oh my... Like, if I'm judging, I usually go 789. But I feel like these, at their price point, at what they're aiming for, 789 is not the best amp for them. I feel like that's... I've listened to things on it, and I'm like, I'm more judgy for my music through the 789 than I am through the reference or that. This is sort of like the softest, warmest combo I've got going on right now. And this is sort of like the middle ground. So I'm probably going to stick to this. Father John Misty, Real Love Baby. Now I've had them off my head for 20 minutes while I'm getting the review set up and putting, you know, goddamn tequila in the bag. So my head is sort of gone back to its normal shape. So now that I'm wearing them again, it's like, oh man, they're uncomfortable again. They need to like rotate this way. They need to rotate this way. And then they need to be out further and in. They need to be this and not this. And they need to be this and not this. This is... I get over the comfort. Again, we're getting over the comfort. The new ones are way more comfortable. I don't have that fat a head, but it feels like it's designed to fit a child, and I'm not that. Not at heart. But as soon as you put music through them, and this is not the greatest music on the planet Earth, this is Nero, Must Be the Feeling, Brooks Brothers remix, you still can tell you're using some really, really, really high-end headphones to listen to music. Gypsy Kings. You get a very, very good amount of space. Depending on the music, depending on what they want you to hear, you hear either very, very intimate sounds or you're into this big space. Because the drivers are so thin on the Phi version. I hope it's Phi and not Phi. Either way, I'm going to say it. Phi. You get it's actually thinner membrane on this driver than there is on Stax. Now, there's still metal going across it, which would probably negate that and the weight of it. But at this price point, it's getting real close and hard to tell if this is like an electrostatic or a planar. It certainly has a lot of weirder. Usually electrostatics, you get an amp or an energizer when you're done. So this, I'm getting to play with it on portables, on, Class A stuff. I can plug it into tubes if I really don't like myself. I don't recommend these on a tube. Weird things. You'd have to get that shit amp to really listen to it, and I didn't have it long enough. I'm just skipping through my music now because I want to really. I find with these headphones, number one, they point out all your bad music, all the bad recordings. Number two, I like to push them a little bit louder than normal. I was trying to play at low volumes, and I was trying to shuffle back and forth between the 3 amplifier setups at low volume, and every time I did that, I was sort of like bored. But then you turn that volume up, and you get it to like, well, here I'm at. Oh, I'm so close to like the maximum. And this is a Tumbleweed from the Space Dandy OSD. And it's just like you could feel the music a little bit more. There was a track from the Dread OST that threw low end at me, and I'm like, whoa, it's doing such a good job at that. My problem with these headphones is not the fact that they are uncomfortable. It's not the fact that they require like you to find the perfect amplifier setup by mixing and matching. It's not even their cost, because the way they're built and how much engineering was put into that makes them worth that amount of money. My problem is they don't hit me with that thing. Whatever the thing is. Every headphone has a thing. My whole wall is full of headphones with things. The one thing. They only need every headphone up there, you're like, oh, Zeos, obviously all these are perfect. No. A lot of those are flawed as fuck. But they have a thing. And that thing makes me want to own them. Whether it's width or bass or imaging or comfort or style, there's something about a headphone. I just need one thing to make a headphone perfect. And that sounds weird. But I'm having a hard time finding this thing. There's so many variables between the music and the amplifiers. The build is great. The build quality is great. The design is sort of like meh. And the sound is probably above average better than if you averaged everything, imaging, soundstage, bass, treble, vocal clarity, resonance, you'd get like above average of every one of those aspects. But it doesn't have a sound signature that's like, oh, these are a bassy headphone. These are the kings of what? Everything on earth needs to be a king of something. The 789 is the king of neutrality. Done. 0.00003% total amount of distortion. Nothing colors it. It's great. Children. Everything needs to have that one item that just makes it unique. And at this cost, at this build, I listen to this and everything sounds fantastic. I just don't know how to describe it. Like, okay, great. They sound great. They don't make me want to own them at all. Like, I want to listen to them. I want to review them. I want them to be more comfortable so I can listen to them longer. But if you ask me, what does this do? What is the one thing? I can't say everything. Because it doesn't do. There are bassier headphones, almost HP3s, my Klipsch HP3s. I would rather listen to low end music and soundstage on that than these. They're trying so hard to be the greatest headphone on earth, and they're almost there. I just wish I had a reason to love them more than I do, because it takes a long time to get them comfortable, and then it takes a long time to just sit down and actually find the groove where they sound their absolute best. And I've heard them at their absolute best. And every bit of music sounds fantastic on them. And then what? That's it. That's my review of the Diana Phi. It's like, I want to love these. They have so much going for them. And I just want to... They could reach the sky if they just did... They need to break they need to break their frequency response. They need to not be neutral. They're almost a little bit too neutral. They're like the Shure 1540s. Great built headphone, just easy to drive, neutral. So neutral that I wanted to sleep. Now, I don't want to sleep in these. I want to hear music on them. I was singing and dancing, everything before this video. But they're not my sound signature. I like things that sound aggressive and close, insanely far away and bassy. You know, having holographic imaging, but everything else sort of falls apart. My Grado GS1000s are a great example because they literally fucking distort when you throw low end at them. They distort. Who puts a $1,000 headphone on the wall that distorts with bass? I do. Because when you put female vocals through it or a piano, oh, and I'll live with the attached cable and the terrible build quality of those Grados. Because of those two things they do better than anything else. Better than these, better than Stax. Those do those things better. Just piano and some female vocals. And I've been listening to these for fucking weeks now. And I go portable with them, and I'm like, wow. But then I put them down and I put on something cheaper, more affordable, a little bit bigger. It's like, woo, this is... I'd rather spend the time with those than these, because they make me angry at my music. Because I feel like none of the music I personally listen to works with them as well as a shittier headphone would work. That's weird to say. Another thing, they give you the bag here. And now I'm just going to get off the thing. That was very emotional. I'm sorry to bring my emotions so far into this. But here's like the bag to hold them. And this is like a great example of like, you're trying so hard. I love this bag. I love the fact that it's got like a dual zipper. And you get like here's the thing, and you get to pull it, and whoa, yeah. But this hole doesn't open wide enough to put the headphones in comfortably. Like here, I put them in like this, and if you try to pull them out, if you just try to pull out headphones from the top, you gotta like wiggle. Like I actually got them stuck in the bag before. It's like, okay, hold on. At least it's made in the USA. There's so much to love from Abyss. There really is. They're made in New York. New fucking York. They're so well made. The style, not me. That's not my style. As soon as I saw them, the very first time I saw them, I was like, wow, those are totally out of an airplane in the 70s. That still stands. But once you get into like the aspects of how much they changed and how finite everything is and how thin it all is, and the sound is so good for whoever's listening to that specific song. There's like specific songs that sound amazing on it. Do I recommend them? You have to try them first. You really have to try them. There's no blind buying Diana-Fi. You have to know if what you have to power them, whatever that system is going to push them properly. You have to know if what you're going to listen to, because I've listened to Korn on these and it doesn't sound very good. You put anything that's not like designed to be at a hi-fi convention on it, and it's not going to sound good. Mesamperian sounded good with everything. Yeah, maybe it wasn't the most refined. This has more refined sound than that. But my music's not that refined. I'm not that refined a person. You know, I like chocolate milk and Elio's pizza. And that's who I am. And I wish the comfort was there, because then I'd have a little bit... I would be able to put more hours on these on my ears than I did. God bless you, Abyss. I'm going to try to get them to come to the room at RMAF. I want people to hear these, because if you might find the best headphone experience you've ever had with a pair of these. Or a pair of the new ones specifically, so they're more comfortable. I have too much eclectic taste in music and everything to have it all just be like the greatest. It's great, but it's not the greatest. It needs to pick an aspect that it is great at. Because you can build it as good as you want. If I don't want to listen to it for endlessly for 22 hours, I think you still got room for improvement. Sound demo for these is in the description. Obviously not doing anything justice, but I think you'll hear a little bit about what I'm talking about. Some EQing done to fix the planarness. That wallpaper in the description. Links to these in the description. links to the RMAF GoFundMe in the description, because I am doing that. That will be there. It will be showing off things, and I don't care how expensive the headphones are. I want you to hear them off cheaper source gear, which reminds me I may have to rebuy some stuff. Yeah, and if you're a patron of $5 or more, you see every one of these videos early by like a week. If you're a $10 or higher patron, you get into a private Telegram chat. You go in there, you want to talk to other people who have tried these. Some of them love them, some of them hate them. The tin P1s I loved. People in there are like, nope, hate the tin P1s. So we all have our own opinions and what we love and hate. And I don't hate these by any means. I respect the shit out of them. They're just not my sound signature. And I hope the new ones, along with comfort, change that just a little bit. And then I'll see the 1266s too, because those things are great.